Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for September 2019. This month begins with a lot of social activity for you, with many planetary placements in Virgo, which is your 11th house. And that's all going to shift gradually over the course of the month into Libra placements in your 12th house, so that the general mood is going to shift from social to solitude. And here to begin talking about it is Julia with some thoughts about Mercury this month for you, Scorpio.
Hey, Scorpio. Yes, let's talk about Mercury, which is the planet of communication and mentation. And Mercury is going to start the month in your 11th house, and that's the house of groups. So that includes your friendships, circles. It also involves if you're a member of any groups, like let's say a bowling league or a professional association or a recovery program. Anything of that nature is definitely 11th house territory. So for the first half of the month, there may be a pretty big buzz of group activity going on in your life where you want to sort of reach out and communicate and share your ideas and plans, maybe within those groups or friendship circles. And the 11th house is also the house of wishes, hopes, and dreams. So this is a really good time to start planning out some strategies for your long-term goals in life. Dreams that are going to take some time to go into fruition. And you're going to also get a really huge boost of like really super good mental mojo when that greater epiphany day happens on the second of the month in your 11th house. So really start thinking ahead of like what you want in life in the long run, and then you can put those plans to action. And then after the 14th, Mercury moves into the sign of Libra, which is in your 12th house. So the 12th house is a much different vibe than the 11th house. It's a lot more withdrawn. It's a lot more secluded. So that might also influence your thought process, where you kind of need to retreat from the world to do your best thinking. And your mind may be on much more ethereal subjects, or you could be getting more messages from more subconscious places like dreams or synchronicity and the like. Natha, what's going on with Venus and Mars this month?
Yeah, hi Scorpio. Let's talk about Venus first. Venus is going to start the month in your 11th house. So that will, you'll probably find that you'll be a little bit more social, that you'll be hanging out with friends, that you'll want to be out and about doing things. But it does move into the 12th house on September 14th when it moves into the sign of Libra. And I think that the 12th house energy is energy that really resonates with you because it's water energy. There is a certain privacy that comes along, and I think that feels that can feel very relaxing for you in ways that it might not necessarily for other signs. It's a good time to, like Julia said, go inward and really dream about the kinds of relationships you want, whether you are in relationship or out of partnership. You can certainly do some fantasizing, and fantasizing is, I think it's a really good way to kind of get clear on what you're wanting in relationship. And then Mars is in the sign of Virgo all month, so it will be in your 11th house all month. We have something really cool happening with Mars this month. It's called a heroic epiphany day, and it's where Mars comes into connection with the sun. It's a really strong day. It's a day to, really make things happen. Mars is about energy and action and moving into action. And Mars in Virgo is really efficient and opinionated. And, being in the 11th house, the house of activism, this might be a really good day for you to make your voice heard or to support a friend who has a cause. Maybe even donate some money to GoFundMe or something like that. Know that Mars in the 11th, one of the difficult things for you, and especially for you, Scorpio, because you can be really sensitive and you can worry that people are, have things that aren't kind to say behind your back, that, you might feel that and come across as a little bristly. But if that kind of stuff shows up for you with Mars, because Mars can rule anger, just know that a really great way out of it for yourself is to empower yourself with self-improvement. So you might, again, it's going back to helping other people do things, or maybe even, figuring out a way to make yourself feel better by getting a new skill or something along those lines. Virgo is a sign that loves to acquire new skills. So I think that's all I have to say. And I know, Jamie, you have more.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback on what you were just saying there about because there's a wonderful opportunity for Scorpio to feel better this month, which is the harvest moon that is coming on 13th. And right here, that harvest moon is the moon that falls in Pisces during Virgo in the fall. And this year, it's conjunct Neptune and in your 5th house, Scorpio, of fun, pleasure, play, recreation, getting out of town and just relaxing and enjoying yourself. Maybe with a special somebody who's fun to be with. And and part of why I mention this is because during this harvest moon, in relaxing Pisces, we have, of course, the sun is in Virgo and Mars is with it. And so that fast-moving Mars that's giving us that heroic Epiphany Day might have you spending much of the month running around in your community and so very active, moving things forward, and you know, with the combination of Mercury and Mars at the beginning of the month, making a lot of stuff happen, you know, being a mover and shaker. And especially if that's the case, I think that this harvest moon, and for the several days really around the harvest moon on the 13th, are a wonderful time to just kick back and enjoy a little rest, recreation, a respite in the midst of all that busyness, because frankly, you deserve it. So then there's another moon at the end of the month, and that is on the 28th. And it's a new moon in Libra. And right here in your 12th house, which is the house that Pisces normally rules. And that is another place of resting, recuperation, of retreating from the world, finding a wonderful solitude that can fill you back up. So the new moon falling there at the end of the month is a great time for pulling inward and enjoying your own company, perhaps in nature somewhere that's really beautiful and touches your soul, or engaging in whatever spiritual practices fill you up again. And really, the new moon is a time for planting seeds for the future. So that's, you know, that's another approach to those, you know, spiritual practices and so forth. Now, there are a couple of other things going on. One of them is that on the 18th, we have got Saturn turning direct. Now, Saturn has been retrograde for several months. That means moving backward in apparent motion. And so you might have felt like you've been spinning your wheels in terms of communication. Saturn's been in your house of communication for at least a year now and has got some time yet to go in that arena. And when Saturn is in a house, that's the place where we've got to do some hard work. And if we do that hard work, we'll get a reward. So Saturn in your 3rd house suggests that there's been some work that you've been doing about communicating. Maybe it's about listening to people. Maybe it's about feeding back to people what you heard them say. Maybe it's about really articulating what's in your own heart and mind. I don't know, but somewhere in there is some work that you've been doing. And at this point, with Saturn going direct, you're likely to get the feeling of traction. Like now the effort you're putting in is going to start paying off. And that's a lovely feeling. The last thing I want to tell you about is that Jupiter is square Neptune this month. And this is the final pass of a transit that's been going on pretty much all year of Jupiter square Neptune. And I'd like to call this transit, when Jupiter and Neptune meet up in a hard aspect like a square or an opposition, I like to call it mass delusion, because neither of these planets really stops the other one. Jupiter can expand endlessly and will see things positively, even if they're just gross. And Neptune, the dreamer, will put a rose tint on everything. So when Jupiter squares Neptune, anybody who could go off the deep end will. And if there's any area of your life where you're not terrifically grounded, you might find that you're imagining things that aren't actually happening. So to be a little bit more specific, because Jupiter is in your second house, you may have been having some financial luck, which is a great thing, but don't let it make you spend out the money that comes in. This is not a time for easy come, easy go, because the square between Jupiter and Neptune can make it seem like that new financial source is endless when actually it's not. So be very careful what you do with your money. And as this transit finishes with the end of September and moving on into October and deeper into the fall, that sensation of a rose-tinted world, taking perhaps a more positive spin on things than they deserve, that is going to fade. And I think it'll be a relief to all of us. Well, Scorpio, the last thing I want to say is that if you have the sun in Scorpio and you're watching this video, I want to urge you to sign up for your yearly birthday solar return reading, because now is the time to do it. If you can have your birthday reading before your birthday, you can really get a jump on the coming year. You can figure out what are the very best intentions to set for the year, intentions that are in alignment with how the year is actually going to unfold. Stuff that's doable and achievable that will leave you at the end of the year feeling really satisfied with how it went. And so to make that happen, you should probably get a solar return reading before your birthday. And the best place to do that is to go to pandoraastrology.com and hit the readings or services button in the navigation bar, and any of us would love to see you. So that's what we have for you today, Scorpio. I hope you enjoyed it. Please tune in next month to our YouTube channel, where you'll find all the horoscopes in a playlist, and we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.